to episode 4 of our Falcon and Winter Soldier podcast. I'm JJ Barnes and this is Jonathan McKinney.
Hello.
So, if you don't know, if you're unfamiliar, and if for some reason you have jumped in on episode 4 of our podcast,
Hello.
Hello and welcome. We are JJ and Jonathan, and we are talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series here on Disney Plus. We did the WandaVision one before this, so we did every episode of that. Now we're doing this. We're just going to keep doing all the Marvel series as they come onto Disney Plus. What we do is we take each episode, we break it down. We talk about the plot, everything that happened in it. John tries not to spill his wine.
I do try not to spill my wine.
We talk about what happens in the episode. We talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and then thoughts and theories about what's to come. We aim to try and break it into 4 sections according to those subject matters. But we end up getting overexcited and talking about all the things that are sort of in our heads as it comes.
That is correct.
But in theory, first is plot, then likes, then dislikes, and then, thoughts and theories. So we'll crack straight onto it. The plot. Now, I'm going to have to stop myself jumping ahead. And I am, because it deserves to have the respect of the building up to the climax that...
Yes.
It has in the actual episode, right? So if I do start getting overexcited and jumping ahead, because as I say, this Podlovians, we do not talk about this together until we literally sit down at the end of the day. We watch it separately during the day. So you watched it this morning while I filmed my YouTube videos.
I did.
I watched it at lunchtime.
Yes.
We've just not spoken about it, and it's been really hard.
Yes, it has been.
It's been a challenge. So, right, I'm going to try real hard just to stick to the events of it.
6 years ago, Wakanda.
Poor Bucky.
But also...
Lucky Bucky.
Yeah.
Lucky Bucky.
Yeah, lucky Bucky.
I agree. I tell you what, Sebastian Stan has great pain. He acts distress. Do you not agree?
Yes, I absolutely agree.
Poor
Sebastian
Bucky.
Stan. I didn't realise how capable he was.
I really didn't. I had no opinions on him.
He's good at staring, and he always has been, and they make a joke of that.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Like, the series just stare. But, God, that man can deliver suffering in the eyes so well.
So I want to go through 3 things when it comes to the Wakanda stuff.
Yeah, go. Do.
And one of them is Sebastian Stan. So we've sort of touched on that. Ayo, the Wakandan Dora Milaje woman. She is incredible.
She's incredible.
In the flashback. I mean, throughout.
Oh yeah, of course.
But also specifically in the flashback, she's terrified.
Yeah.
And so much of the attention of the flashback is drawn by Sebastian Stan, by Bucky
You're right.
Barnes.
I mean, that's so much of where my attention just went to, was that man suffering in his eyes.
You see Ayo's chest heaving with anxiety and then relief.
She's saying the trigger words.
When she says, "You're free."
Yeah.
And she says it again to him, "You're free." She is clearly...
I agree.
Relieved to the extent that she looks like she was concerned she was going to die.
Yeah.
And we see how strong she is later in the episode.
You're 100% right.
If you watch it again,
yeah.
Her chest is just bobbing up and down.
Yeah.
She is clearly...
She's risking a hell of a lot to do that for him.
Yeah.
No wonder she feels the betrayal then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You're right. I hadn't sort of thought about it. Like, she was delivering it, but I hadn't really sort of stopped to think about it.
Yeah.
But I got that... You know what I mean? Like, that came through loud and clear without me having to really process the thoughts.
Yeah, because I was the same because I watched it more than once, Podlovians. So the first time I watched it, I had exactly the same response you had, which is that I was seeing something, but I wasn't thinking about it because I was taking it in.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I completely see it.
The second time I watched it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, such a
because she's
absolutely brilliant scene.
You can see how hurt she is by him in the present day.
Yeah.
Like, she's obviously...
And she talks about he chose us.
Yeah.
About T'Chaka.
Yeah,
right?
like
he chose us, so we have shame. And I was like, I never even considered that she felt shame, because of course she does, because she was one of
went to protect
his
and
bodyguards.
Yeah.
And how can you fail more if you're a bodyguard of
the
a
thing of
monarch?
her emotional delivery that stuck out to me, and you're right, I should have sort of processed the thoughts on that fear, but it wasn't that fear in that scene. It was her sense of betrayal by him and what that meant to her.
Yeah.
When she talks to him, and you're right, like the talk of the shame and like everything that they were supposed to do and what Zemo did, and how she's seeing Bucky with him and defending him essentially. The delivery, that is what stuck out of me of her performance, was just the guttural pain that she is in because of what he has chosen and what it means for her choices. And like, I agree. She was absolutely phenomenal. But as I say, I should have thought about the fear in that scene. I was so focused on Bucky's pain.
Well, I mean, I think that's reasonable because he's clearly experiencing a lot of emotion as well.
But her emotional response is what stuck out to me later. But she's fantastic.
So
and what's her name? Io?
Io. Yeah. Ayo.
Okay.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about in the scene with the scene in Wakanda in the flashback is Henry Jackman's music.
And see, I love that you're such a music brain, because I can't even remember it.
Well, on the one hand, it's not intrusive, right? It doesn't. It wouldn't interfere with your experience watching it. It very much serves the emotions that Bucky is feeling, which is what it should do, because he's the protagonist of the scene, right? It's really just that it builds up, and she says "you are free" twice, right? And the first time she says "you are free," after she's gone through all of the words that he's concerned are going to trigger him and turn him into a monster. The first time she says "you are free," it builds to this chord, essentially. It's just a piano, I think, and some strings. But the chord is, I was talking to you about this privately, about how certain chords demand to be satisfied by the next chord. Right? Much like a question demands to be answered, right?
I love how you see that, because I do not get that. I am so not musical.
Well, that's a big part of music, is the fourth chord. If you're going through a four-chord progression, the fourth chord should drag you back to the first one, so that when you go back to the first one, there's satisfaction in it. Now, it's not a four-chord progression, because film music never is. Or sometimes it might be, but it's rarely a four-chord. Like, that's a pop song has a four-chord structure. Britney Spears, "Oops, I Did It Again." The fourth chord is G major, and it goes back to C minor, and it's satisfying, right?
Okay.
But my point is that it sets up this chord when she first says "you are free," and it holds it for longer and longer and longer. And I was hearing the music and the question posed by the music and wondering when the resolution was going to come. And she says it again, and again her chest's going up and down because she's clearly experiencing things. And she says "you are free" again, and Bucky then has his Sebastian Stan's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I agree.
Like, we didn't know we were going to get this level of quality again.
I didn't know. My experience of his acting, so I don't know what else he's been in. I don't know if he's known for much for other stuff.
No.
But my experience of acting is sort of running around brooding.
Yeah, he's got a big robot arm, and he broods. Yeah, but he's
fantastic.
And what a great start to the episode.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
I know I sound like I'm just, the cheerleader, but this is my genuine response.
Because it sets up so much of the emotional interactions later. Like, the relationship between him and Io. There's it, because you wouldn't necessarily know all this. You wouldn't know about how much it matters to both of them. Yeah. What they went through together.
Yeah, I mean, this is like we've compared Bucky to Angel before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is sort of him getting his soul back. Like, it's
incredibly important.
To this
she is somebody he has experienced literally a life-changing thing with. By her hand, it appears, as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know enough about the magics or whatever used.
No, but it does. It comes across like this is
by her
sort
hand
of her
that
effort.
that he is.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he's so indebted to her, and she has put so much faith in him. And it's a short scene. It doesn't take very long, but I feel like it tells you everything in that little scene that you need to know. That. Yeah, I agree. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
So where do we go after that? Because I can't remember where we jumped to.
Well, just to resolve my own point.
Sorry, yeah.
That's okay. Is that I'd mentioned 3 things. We've talked about Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Stan was the 3rd thing that I needed to praise. Because I don't know what else to say. He's absolutely incredible. When he's having that fear that he's going to become a monster, and then that relief when he does not. And how it all works beautifully.
Agreed.
Io's obvious apprehension and anxiety about what she's doing. The music, as I say, 10 out of 10 from me.
Agreed.
We can move on to the present day.
You have resolved your points?
I have. My points are resolved.
So where do we jump to next?
Well, Bucky and Io are in the streets in wherever the hell.
Of course. We go straight back to where we left off last episode.
Yeah. So that's when she talks about their sense of loss and their sense of shame.
See, I have such scatty memories on this because so many of my thoughts are being pulled in so many different directions in this episode. The things I want to talk about.
I know for a fact I'm not going to say everything I want to say.
No, ditto. Right, do we want to try and do it then? Do we want to try and do it in order of scene? Because I can't remember and my thoughts are being pulled in every which direction. Or do you just want to talk about...
Do you want to free-for-all it?
We might as well. And my theory is I can't remember the order the scenes come in.
Okay, I've got the episode down pretty well.
All right, tell you what, you lead the order of it then. You take the charge on this because I can't remember and I want to talk about everything.
Okay, well, in the streets, Bucky and Io discuss, as we've said...
Yep.
Her sense of loss and shame, and not just hers, but the Dora Milaje, as a group.
I didn't know that was their name.
Clearly, like a very competent.
Oh my god, badass! When they go into that apartment, oh my god, I was so excited.
Isn't it exciting to watch?
It's so fucking brilliant. Like spears going. I love it when she kicks him into the spear that's in the wall, and he goes splat.
Yeah.
Loved it. Oh my gosh, I really enjoyed that scene. Like, they are so fucking badass. And when he's like, they're not even super soldiers. It's like, in your face.
God, I love it so much.
And it sets up, I'm doing it again, I'm jumping ahead, but like his distress that he was just absolutely flattened by these women who aren't even super soldiers.
Yeah.
It just... you know what's coming.
So
you know
good.
What is coming, but it tells you why.
The thing is, I didn't know what was coming. Like, I obviously, he takes the vial.
Yeah. I mean,
you kind of, it's there.
He's talked so much about the super soldiers. Like, to me, like, I was just waiting. Like, when is he going to do it? When is he going to get the stuff? When is he going to get the serum?
For me, it was more just that, like, with these shows, they take unexpected turns. Like, some of the things are what you'd expect.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can expect 2 things that are contrary. For example, we are just completely jumping all over the place now.
I know.
While we're jumping about, we have a section, Podlovians, called What You Like. I don't just like Zemo. I fucking love
I
Zemo.
think this character is...
better than Spike and better than Sark.
Gosh,
I absolutely
and I love Spike and Sark.
This character, yeah, me too. This character is an absolute triumph from start to finish.
I agree.
So there's one thing I don't like in this whole episode, which is when he sings the what song does he sing? He's like it's like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
One for the master, one for the dame, one for the little boy lives down the lane.
Yes.
That, and only because, like, the villain singing a nursery rhyme, I was like, yeah, I get you. But because like, it was not clear. Right. Okay. So I'm gonna go back one episode. Right.
Okay.
The Power Broker. right,
Yeah.
is the name of the previous episode. Now, 2 characters were introduced last week.
Right.
Baron Zemo. I keep wanting to say Nemo.
I keep saying Zumo.
I know you do.
I keep seeing Zemo trending, and I'm like, oh, Zumo.
Good old Nemo. So yeah, two characters were introduced last week in the episode titled "The Power Broker." Right?
Yeah.
One was Zemo. One was Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
I think one of them has to be the Power Broker. Right?
Really?
Yes.
Because otherwise, this character's been built up, and I think it'll be Sharon then.
I think it's going to be Sharon as well, and the reason I think it'll be Sharon is because of what Zemo does with the vials. And this was the moment for me in this. Well, this was one of the moments in this episode where I wanted to stand up and cheer and applaud when he's like, "Is this what I think it is?" And he's holding the vials with the little blue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now's his trial, right?
Yeah.
From me. Because, like, obviously he knows who he is. He's been making a big song and dance so far about how, supremacists want the vial.
Yeah.
How...
And it's like, does he take it?
Does he take it?
Or does he destroy it?
And he starts destroying it. And I was like, I wanted to do the Ode to Joy. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
In just sheer appreciation of who this character is.
He is absolutely true. He is not full of shit.
He's not
you
full of
might
shit.
not agree with what he's doing. You might not agree that he is right. But he is 100% honest. He is saying the truth of what he thinks, why he thinks it, what he wants. He does not bullshit you. If this man says that this is what he believes, he is on it.
He's manipulative.
Oh yeah,
of course he is.
He's not with the Turkish delights.
Yeah.
But he's not a bullshitter.
He's not a bullshit. Well, again, all manipulators are bullshitters.
All right, okay.
You're right that his whole spiel about super soldiers and super serum,
that wasn't
It's how he feels.
He
has
is true.
proven that he is not interested in that power grab.
That absolute power that could have been his because he was holding the shit, right?
Yeah. And we saw what Walker does.
Yeah, exactly. Walker is wanting it. I mean, but then Walker never makes a song and dance about not wanting it.
No, but he does have a conversation with Lamar about whether or not you should.
Yeah, because he's like, what do you think?
Zemo has a conversation with Sam about whether or not you should.
Yeah.
And he's got the ice pack on his head because he got shielded in the head, which probably would have killed him.
Yes.
In real life, but this isn't real life. It's fine. He's got a very strong head. I couldn't have been happier when he started smashing those files.
I agree.
Because I wondered last week, was he killing Nagel because he's an absolutist about super soldier serum? Or was he killing Nagel because he doesn't want the super soldier serum to fall into other people's hands?
Yeah. I wondered, does he
Is he the power broker was my question. Is he on a power grab? And if you're on a power grab, you take whatever power you can get, which is what John Walker does.
Yeah.
But he's not. He has got a philosophy that he lives by.
And I really like his way. As I say, his understanding with the kids with the Turkish delight. Mm-hmm. Sam and Bucky, God bless them, are we want to talk about this. We want to talk about this. Hi, we want to do this. We want to do this. Man. Manning around the place. And I love these guys. So I am being critical. But they are trying to do it in the sort of man way. Yes. And he's like, I've got sweets. They're kids. Yeah. I understand I can talk to kids. I understand what to do.
In the theme of hopping around, because this is what we're doing. Sam is on trial for Captain America in this TV show.
Yeah.
Right? He's auditioning for the job.
I agree.
Of Captain America. And when he walks into the room with the 2 displaced flag smasher
he calls them
people,
refugees, and they say we're not refugees.
He calls them refugees, but also he's very honest with them. He is incapable of manipulating them.
Yeah, I mean, that's another. I was enjoying Zemo's natural understanding of how to communicate. Whereas
Captain America has to be almost so innocent, so pure of heart, right?
No, you're right.
That he can't go in and manipulate with Turkish delight. He has to be truthful and say, this is what I'm here for, and this is the,
Yeah. No, you're right. I just enjoyed the contrast
of course.
Because it's I am police, I do it right way. And then it's, hello, I have sweeties, come and tell me everything I need. I just enjoy that the straightforward, upfront, man way, and then I understand how actually to get a job done.
Sure. I mean, I'm not saying it's the man way. I'm saying that it's the
Honest
Captain America way.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Sam is...
Because Bucky isn't too pure. He unleashed Nemo?
You did it again. Zumo.
Zemo. Sorry, Podlabians.
Zumo.
Baron Zemo. Baron Nemo. Bucky's not too pure.
No.
What I'm saying is I watched this show and I feel like Sam could pick up Thor's hammer and then attack Thanos with it.
The time I thought that most in this was when he's talking to Carly.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
My God.
He's incorruptible, is the point.
Because
this TV show is showing us that he's incorruptible, just like Steve Rogers is.
He is so honest with her. And there's almost like he's not judging her.
He judges her for killing.
Well, he judges.
Which is correct.
Yeah, but he's not.
But not in a way that's like, I'm better than you.
He's also not. Yeah, when I say not judging, I mean he's not preachy. He's not. He's not condemning. He's just like, this isn't the right thing to do. And
yeah, he doesn't prescribe behavior onto her.
He respects what she says, and he talks to her like a person. He's
Captain America.
He's wonderful. I just loved that scene, right? Because we've talked before about the Flag Smashers, and I had very few feelings about Carly and the Flag Smashers
before this
episode. And I'm still not really connected with them as much as I feel I should be. But the funeral scene with Carly, I felt so much more like I understood her. And
yes, I think Carly's full of shit, but I also am glad that Sam doesn't think that.
Yeah, I think that might be the disconnect I have with her, because I felt like the funeral scene very touching, and the way she talks, right? I felt like, yeah, I understand you. I understand why these people care about you. I understand why people are invested in her. But I agree, you know what? I think, because I've never really connected with that character.
No.
I just can't. And I do feel more connection with her after this episode. I do. And her conversation with Sam, I loved that. But I feel like you're right. You know the moment when she's like, well, I'll kill anyone who gets in my way?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
Yeah, he says, wow.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the problem. I think that's her truth.
Yeah, well, okay, so...
And the honest, noble purity of the cause is kind of a mask for what she just wants to cause anarchy.
Well, I don't think she wants to cause anarchy. I think that she's lost in idealism, and idealism, like as a rule, has to dehumanize some human beings.
Yeah.
Because they don't either believe what they're supposed to believe, which is what the true belief demands.
Why she's happy to kill the people in the building in the explosion.
Yeah. And it's also Zemo's problem. And I'm saying about how much I love Zemo. That's because I love the performance, the writing, everything. And I suppose that's the difference. I don't love the character of Carly Morgenthau as much.
Yeah.
But they are similar.
They are, you're right. They're like opposite ends of a coin.
Sure. I mean, Zemo killed the king of Wakanda, right?
Yeah.
And other people, like I think Hydra people that he killed. So you might say, No,
but I mean, he's killing, blanket rule killing on the basis that there is super soldiers that he wants to...
Yes, and again, with Sam being on trial for the role of Captain America in this series, when
Zemo gets near Carly, he tries to kill her.
Yes, and that's one of the best scenes of the episode. But when Zemo's talking about, we can't let people develop super soldier serum because it leads to supremacism or supremacyism.
Supremacism.
Exactly, yeah. And we can't let them do this, we can't let them do that. And Sam says to him, "Well, that sounds like God's talk."
Yeah.
Having this authority over what people are allowed to do.
Yeah.
He is Captain America elect.
Yeah. He so is, and he's great, isn't he?
He is.
He is great, and it doesn't come across like Carly. I don't buy her nobleness. I don't buy it. I feel like
she's acting.
She is acting the noble, whereas Sam,
he's not acting. He's genuinely.
Yeah. I agree, 100%.
A great
I agree.
person, and it's a joy to watch because, well, I mean, we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. In
this show, and what we're getting is a Bucky you can care about, and Sam who you kind of.
I already liked him, but didn't really know him. But now I'm like love.
I feel like he's more entitled to the title of Captain America than even Steve Rogers was. He's
earning it by his behaviour, not because he volunteered and they were like, oh.
Yeah, and like, to be fair, Steve Rogers, he jumped on the grenade not because he had a special whatever.
100%. Like
yeah, he did it to stop people from dying, and like, he's a hero when he's thin. He's a hero when he's large.
I'm not downplaying the goodness of Steve Rogers, but Sam isn't a super soldier.
No, he's not.
And he's still got everything you need.
He does. He's great. Like, honestly, the series of questions that this show is posing about what and it's so good. Like, the thing is, I don't like subtlety in storytelling, particularly.
Subtlety is for little men.
Yeah, exactly. So said the creator of the Nevers, whoever that was.
You're allowed to say.
I'm joking though. Like, I'm doing it to be facetious because we're not allowed. But I don't like subtlety. But what I do like about this show is when it uses subtlety, it's suggesting things.
Yeah.
Without stating them, like having Sam speak Arabic in the first episode, and then having fake Tin America not be able to speak a foreign language in the third episode. It suggests things without smacking you around the face with them.
Agree completely.
And you don't need to follow them in order to understand the show.
Yeah.
They're just things there for you to chew on if you want to. And if you don't, it's fine. You can just watch the TV show about an espionage thing.
Just absorb it.
A moody new Captain America who's just murdered somebody. And like...
Massive jump ahead there, Jonathan McKinney.
Well, I like to do that.
But yeah, what else did I want to talk about before we get to the big climax murder?
Well, lots of things.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to pinpoint down because there's so much I want to talk about.
There's so much.
There was moments I literally laughed out loud.
Such as?
And I'm trying to think. So
my TT.
Yes. And he's like,
your TT would have been very proud.
I loved it. But I just love it. He's like, my TT. He's like, your TT?
Your TT?
My TT.
My TT. All right, my aunt.
Yeah, I just love the way Bucky's like, what's your TT? And then, Zemo is like, your TT would be very proud. And I was like, oh,
love him. Love him a bit.
I loved it. Because, again, and then it's like a really good little intro to the Turkish delight that he's going to crack out later as well, which is very neat. But I just really enjoyed that because it really made me laugh. And there was another moment. I can't remember what it was, and that's going to really bum me out.
Humour.
Yeah, just a really, a short line that really just tickled me. And I feel
remember which characters were...
I feel like Fake Tin America was involved.
The knives?
Yes! Yes!
I know your brain.
Yeah, it was. What's with all the knives?
What's with all the knives?
I really enjoyed that because it was the kind of humour that you get when you're like, when it's people who are very self-aware in story, right? And it's
this
like,
isn't even your real hair.
because like you can see, right, someone being like, right, in this scene we've got these guys who are really good with knives, so I want you to write a scene where they fight, everyone's got loads of knives because it'll look really cool. We've got these actors who are really well trained with knife fighting, right? Okay, so they're like, okay, yeah, no problem. We'll write this scene will be a knife fight scene. Okay, but then you've got the writers who are like, but why? But why?
But why?
But why? And like the writers are like, okay, that's fine. It will work as long as we acknowledge that it's weird. It's weird that suddenly everybody's got knives because these guys have access to guns. They, you know, like they are super soldiers. They don't have to have knives, right? They've never had knives before, particularly. They just battered the crap out of people. But obviously, for some reason, they felt that knife fighting would be really good in this scene and would just look really cool on screen. And the writers are sort of like, okay,
so, we've got to make sense of it.
We can,
and if we can't, we can at least
acknowledge it.
That it doesn't make
just
sense.
Acknowledge that it's weird, and then the audience will be like, yeah, you're right, it's weird, and then just go with it because it's been treated. It's respecting what the audience sees.
It's a nod towards Wayne's World humour, right? Didn't you ever want to open a door to a room where people are being trained like in a James Bond movie? Excellent. Yeah, I liked also. I mean, we should talk about what's his name, Wyatt Russell, who plays Faked in America.
Okay.
He is absolutely incredible as an actor.
He is brilliant.
He's absolutely brilliant.
I hate him.
He's despicable, but he's not. Also, he's incredibly human.
Yes, but I hate him.
Of course, because he's Faked in America.
I hate his ears.
All right, okay, but. Let's talk about Wyatt Russell positively and not criticise his ears.
I only hate his ears when he's wearing the mask.
No, it's funny you mention the ears, right? I think everything about him doesn't suit the Captain America suit. It doesn't,
because when he's not in it...
They shoot it like he's small. He's not. He's a very tall man. When
we first saw him in the suit...
He looked Diddy.
He looked Weasley. I literally said the word Weasley. Out of the suit, he is handsome and strong and big.
He's clearly a tall, sort of dominating man.
Yeah, 100%. When he's not in the suit, he looks great. When he's in the interview chair with that thing.
Yeah, but I think it's the way that it's shot. So again, to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which was created by a man whose name I forget.
He doesn't. Podlovians, he doesn't forget.
I forget.
He doesn't forget.
Joseph Wheelhouse. So
he doesn't forget.
Joey Dubs, who created Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? Anyway, at the end of season 2, right, my favourite episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Becoming, part 1 and 2. The biggest flex by a TV person, like a TV creator, that I've ever seen. And I've watched all the television. I've watched all the fucking the Sorkin, now the Sopranos. I am watching these things. Biggest flex, Joey Dubs.
Becoming.
Anyway, so Willow is in hospital, right? And apparently they made the bed huge so that she looked small.
Really?
Right? Because they wanted to emphasize the vulnerability, the childlikeness of her.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that she looks more
frail,
vulnerable and weak. So when she does the spell and everything.
Exactly. In this show, every time Wyatt Russell is in the Captain America suit, I feel like they're shooting it like the unflattering angle, right? Like when you open the phone and it's sort of facing up at your chin and you go, honestly, oh no.
When I first saw him out of the suit, I was like, oh, he's a handsome...
He's a compelling man.
He is handsome, he is strong, he is big, like he looks like a leading man. And then you put him in that suit and he's got his ears sticking out all fun. Like the way the suit hat fits makes his ears stick out like a monkey.
Yeah.
And his ears don't stick out like a monkey.
Like when you put your mask on and your mask pulls, because of COVID, and your mask pulls your ears down a little bit and you catch yourself in the freezer mirror in the shop and you're like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, but it really is striking to me because in the suit he looks wrong. Out of the suit, he looks like a great sort of leading man.
But I think it's a deliberate thing because they make Steve Rogers. I keep trying not to say Steve Trevor. And they make Steve Rogers look so
he looks
tall,
great in
but
the suit.
also effortless, right?
Yeah.
He runs around with the shield like he just looks great.
This guy, when they're in the alleyway, and him and Battlestar Galactica come running down, they all walk together. I'm like, he looks like a twat.
He does.
They're all in normal clothes, and he comes running down in his little blue suit, and he looks like an idiot.
Sure, yeah.
He looks like a kid playing dress up. And Captain America the First never looked like a kid playing dress up. He looked like a hero, and this guy just looks like a prat.
Well,
but out of the uniform, he doesn't.
I would say that there's some parts in the first Avenger, the first Captain America film, where Steve looks a little bit daft.
Oh yeah, when they're
parading him.
Yeah, but then he's supposed to because
when he's in
combat.
Or
in Avengers mode he doesn't. But yeah, you're right. When he's out there with the girls with their like little mini skirts doing the.
I'll tell you what, John Walker would not be able to keep up with Tony Stark taking the piss out of him.
No, he wouldn't.
He won't ever have to. But if he had to contend with that,
may God rest his soul.
He would throw the shield at Tony Stark and then get battered to shit by Tony Stark.
Yes, he would. Yeah, 100% he would. Yeah, I agree. But it's interesting you say that about the unflattering angles because now I think about it, that makes a lot of sense.
I believe
they're showing that he's just wrong for it.
Yeah, it doesn't fit him. He's like a little brother.
Yeah,
wearing the big brother's clothes, and what I really admire, again, Wyatt Russell. I'm looking at his picture here. That's my wine.
Sorry.
Unhand my wine. Evil knave.
Wrong one.
So Wyatt Russell, in the scene where he is beaten up by the Dora Milaje. Mm-hmm. What are they called? Dora Milaje.
I don't know. The Wakandans.
The Dora Milaje. Oh, fuck, I'm terrible. We'll find out. After he fights them, I know that it is depicted as like, fragile white male sort of patheticness, but I don't care about any of that. I just see the fact that I don't like him, right? I don't care about what statements about skin color or whatever, in so much as when it comes to just observing a character having feelings, right?
He is mortified.
And I don't respect him for being bothered by the fact that he was bested by women who are not super soldiers, right? I think he should get over himself.
But, oh my gosh, of course he should.
Also, it clearly devastates him.
He was mortified.
Failure. And we acknowledge that Io talks about her failure.
Yeah, no.
And the failure of her people.
Devastated. And also, I feel like he knows he is trying to live up to Steve Rogers. And
exactly.
That's means exactly he shouldn't be beaten, and he got beaten, and he wasn't prepared for it. He wasn't either physically or emotionally prepared for it.
Yeah, the only reason he's got the shield after that is because they told that Wakandan woman to put it down.
Yeah,
because she had the shield in her arm. Like, great, and she's looking quite proud of herself. Oh, I got the shield of this dickhead. Yeah. And then she drops it because they're like, no, we don't need to take that shield.
Of course he's devastated. Of course he's upset.
And
also he says, you don't have jurisdiction here because he's in his head like, no, you can't. I'm fine because you can't.
That is how he operates everywhere.
Yeah.
As well.
Exactly.
To him, he's like, no, I have jurisdiction wherever I am.
Yeah.
And that's what she says to him. Like, wherever we are, we have jurisdiction, and that's what.
And he's just not prepared because to him, he's like, no, I'm Captain America. I am the law. I am the government.
Exactly.
I am
Judge Dredd. It's exactly what he thinks.
I am the establishment, right? You are outliers to the establishment, and they're like, we do not recognize your authority.
Yeah.
And he just can't cope with that because he's like, no, you're meant to. No, I have the shield. I'm authority.
Exactly. He expects Wakanda, represented by these warrior women, to just stand down because he announces who he is.
Yeah, and they don't.
And they just don't. Can't. He struts about like he owns the place.
As wherever he is not physically or emotionally prepared for the idea of losing.
It's so good.
It's so good. And he is, you're right. Just because I hate the character and love to hate the reason I love to hate the character is because of how he performs him. So it really is.
The actor is absolutely brilliant.
He is phenomenal.
All the actors are brilliant.
Are they just?
No one is
even Carly, who I've been
she's
talking
got the
about.
hardest job.
She's got the hardest job,
because
and
her dialogue is the crappiest.
But also, I'm talking about how I don't trust her, and I'm pretty sure you're meant to feel that way. Like, she's meant to be complex.
Yeah, I mean,
she's meant to not be someone you can really get a handle on, because...
Like, I think that we are prompted to consider that we should be sympathetic to what she's working for.
And like I said to you, I have felt this episode...
She threatens Sam's sister's
She threatens
children,
his sister's children. She also, as they say, when she is talking like, I will kill anyone who gets in my way kind of thing, or the roadblocks, I don't remember what she calls people, but I feel, like, I was watching this and I was like, I'm feeling sympathy. I'm seeing the way people respond to her. I feel like I'm seeing what the show is telling me to feel for her. But then she makes you lose that. And that is because it's not bad acting that is making me mistrust her or be discombobulated by her. It's intentional. Because you can't get a handle on who this woman is for a reason. I think
sometimes, not necessarily in this episode, but in last week's episode, it was the bad writing.
The writing, like, I agree. The Flag Smasher stuff, is the weakest of this show for me.
But I don't want to sound churlish. Like, this is a triumph of a...
No, I agree. Just because there's one bit that we like a little bit less than all the other bits. Like, it's okay.
Like, my compulsive brain would want to fix every part that I perceive to be a problem. But, like, other people might be like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Marvel's doing pretty well without my input.
Yeah.
So,
guys at Marvel, like, if you want to hire us to, like, write a movie for you, we will.
Or just fix the one scene in your excellent TV show that could be
don't give them an
brilliant.
Either or.
Well, I'm not giving Marvel an either or.
Hire us or fix something.
I didn't say either or.
Good.
You
said or.
I said or, but I didn't say either.
Nah.
That makes it sound like I'm challenging them.
No, I'm saying don't give them an or. Basically, Marvel guys, just hire me. Just ignore him. Hire me.
Well, you've got that direct line to Feige, right?
I am best mates. My mate Feigs. I don't even call him Feige.
The Feigmeister.
Feigster.
Not a day goes by I don't hear about the Feigmeister.
I'll be like, oh, the Feigmeister's
It's like American Pie over here.
I'm like, yo, Feigster!
Yo, Feigster.
Let's get cocktails!
So...
You're sopranosing again.
Always. So, there are many things that I want to say about the Falcon and the
Before we get to that, because I want to talk about the final scene.
Okay.
But I don't want to talk about it yet.
Okay, so the power broker, right? Look at the television.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon Carter.
That makes a lot of sense to me. It really does. Because her place in this isn't really...
It's completely lift-outable.
It's completely lift-outable.
And there's an episode called The Power Broker.
And it's the one she's introduced in.
It's the one she's introduced
I hadn't considered it. I hadn't thought of it.
She says that the power broker's pissed off. The power broker texts Carly and says, and issues threats and stuff in this episode. I think, based on Zemo's smashing of the vials, which is honestly play ode to joy over that scene.
I loved it.
I am happy. Dun 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 dun. When he's smashing those vials, not because I wanted to believe that he was a purist about his ideals or anything like that.
No, just because
but because I wanted clarity. Yeah, I wanted clarity about
it confirmed
his
who
character.
He is. I agree.
And it did confirm who he is in the most emphatic way. And like now there's no going back. We've seen the trial of Baron Nemo, right?
Yes.
We've seen him on trial because if you want power, here's the shortcut.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's not interested. He's not tempted. No. Not even tempted. That's the beauty of it. He's not even tempted.
There was not a moment of, oh, should I, shouldn't I? It was
nothing.
Just, this is the stuff I hate. Bam, kill
This is the end of my species. That's what he sees. That's all he sees. He sees that vial as a route to genocide.
Eradication, yeah.
Yeah. And he talks about Nazis.
Yeah.
And he says you can't separate super soldier serum from supremacism.
Mm-hmm.
And this, again, this show, in its subtlety, invites you to think about things that Podlovian people, I've listened to copious hours of philosophy. So
You have.
nothing that people talk about in movies ever anymore makes me go, oh, what an interesting thought. It's always like, oh, that reminds me of this philosopher or that philosopher, right?
Yeah.
This show and WandaVision before it it makes me go, I've not thought about this in this specific way.
I agree. It's exceptional.
It's so good, and it's always rooted into what the characters. It's the characters are at war in this show, and that's what's absolutely compelling about it. If you look at the screen now, right? So Podlovians, we're watching the bit where they're going towards Mama Donya's.
It's where
funeral.
he joins them in the alley, and he comes. Yeah.
And I think Sam is saying that he wants to talk to Carly Morgenthau. And Captain, like Fakes in America, is saying, no, I'm going to go and use my fists.
Yeah.
And so that's where we are. Like, it's just behemoth characters at war of ideas, not ideals, but ideas. And it's just great. And Sam Wilson, is that his surname? Wilson. Hang on, let's have a look. Yeah, Sam Wilson. He is going to be Captain America.
You're right.
And
he deserves it.
He's gonna have the respect of Baron Zemo.
Yeah, he is.
Who's gonna be like, yeah, I'm always gonna be on the run, and we're gonna be at war forever.
Also, Sam won't be a super soldier.
Well, unless he is. Like, I agree. This episode suggests that he definitely won't be, but you never know.
No, you never know. I agree. But I think
he could cope with it, though. I don't think he would be corrupted by it. I think he's proving that.
Well, because he says, Battlestar says, like, whoever you are.
Yeah.
Is who you will be with it. So
exactly, like
that's
the mask.
Exactly like the mask. Yeah. Okay, so what else do I want to talk about before we get to the climax? Oh, the death of Lamar.
Lamar Hoskins is dead.
Yeah, and I have thoughts, right? Like, no, I mean, the death was great. Like, it was genuinely brilliant. And, God, you're right.
Again,
Faked in America's acting.
Wyatt Russell is incredible.
He's
brilliant.
He is.
He is both an alpha, being a swaggering twat, and also a little boy whose heart's just been broken.
Yeah, he's just watched his best mate die, and he is broken.
We've seen that they had this brothers in arms thing in Afghanistan.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't just like, oh, you guys work together.
So good.
It's phenomenal.
It is.
My question's about that scene, because, as I say, I agree. The death, the way he's thrown across the room by Carly. It was Carly, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he says it wasn't me.
Yeah,
It was, I was just checking. It was Carly.
Yeah.
She throws him.
Well, she punches him in the chest, and he goes flying across the room.
Yeah.
I guess breaks his neck or something.
Yeah, you're right. My two questions.
Yes.
Because, as I say, I would like to clarify everything about that was brilliant, right? My two questions.
Ask me your questions too.
Number one.
Yes.
How come his legs stayed up?
Whose legs?
Lamar, Battlestar Galactica's leg, right? He's dead, but his legs stayed propped up. It's all bented up.
I don't know. Is my quick and easy answer to that one.
I was sitting upstairs and I was reading the Yickabog to the girls, right? So I was just thinking...
The other unmentionable author that we're not allowed to talk about.
Screw that, Podlovians, right? Joss Whedon wrote Buffy and J.K. Rowling wrote the Yickabog, right? I don't care. So, I was lying in bed reading the Yickabog. And I was lying there while the girls were sort of falling asleep as I read. And I put one leg straight and one leg bent, like as I am doing now. Podlovians, you can't see it, but I'm demonstrating to John, right? If I die, right, watch me die.
Oh no, she's dead.
Right, you see how my leg, it flops.
Yeah.
Because it's not hard work to keep one leg straight and one leg bent. It's not muscle work. But it requires an element of physical control over your body that I think when you die, you lose.
Okay.
So I was watching it and I'm like, I'm watching him and he's dead against the wall, but his leg's propped up. I was like, no, he's not dead. He's all right. He's just unconscious or he's just struggling because he's holding his leg up. And I'm like, oh no. And then I was like, he was dead, but I'm like, now he's gone off to kill people. And I'm like watching it, and I'm like, but his leg's still up. His leg's still up. He's not flopped. So I was like, maybe he's not really dead. So my question is,
please,
right, is he either really dead, but rigor mortis set in immediately to maintain the leg in the upright position or the bended up position?
Yeah.
Or is he not dead and Faked in America has acted preemptively?
Okay. I was not expecting this line of questioning.
I'm reading the Ichabod while testing my leg and like trying to make myself go floppy to test if my leg stays up.
I suspect.
I wonder if maybe there was a stone that his foot was propped against, that when the leg goes to flop, it presses against a stone.
I think he's definitely dead.
You see, that makes sense to me, but then rigor mortis does not set in that quickly.
Well, then perhaps that's just a bit of a goof, because I think he's dead. Because the episode told us that he's dead.
I agree, but the leg.
The leg, I think, is just a goof.
But...
Or you're wrong about what legs do when you are punched by Carly Morgenthau.
I was only fake dying during my experiment.
Exactly.
Okay.
So possibly, yeah, when when Carly Morgenthau, first of her name, punches you in the chest and you smash your neck against a pillar.
I feel like it was a head wound. Because his neck doesn't
I felt like his neck was broken and that
really?
killed him. Like, yeah, something spine related, because his head was falling in an unnatural way. And it was clear to everyone that there was something very seriously wrong.
Okay, this leads me to my other question, right?
Yes, please, yeah.
Why did the flag smashers all fuck off?
Well, because they weren't trying to kill Lamar.
Yeah, but they've killed loads of people.
Well, okay, so I agree. And
like,
also,
they all seem scarping. Like, you know, like when you're a
episode,
teenager and your parents catch you on the park and you all fuck off.
It was like in Weird Science before the parents get back and it's all magic.
Yeah, exactly.
But I agree, because in this episode,
they were coming at them with knives.
Well, Carly Morgenthau says, we kill Captain America. That was the point of this fight. Is they were going to kill, what's his name? John Walker / Captain America.
Right, so if they've been blowing shit up, they came at them with knives, they were fighting them.
I think it's because it was accidental, and I don't think they intended to kill him.
But they've been killing loads of people.
Well,
they agree are innocent people, but they were in the way.
Yeah, I agree, but I think there was a like a viscerality to it, right? I don't know if that's a word.
No, but I understand what you mean.
Something visceral about it.
Because
that stunned everybody. Because it stunned us, the audience.
Yeah, of course. Like, right. I agree. And the audience reacting with stun. And, like, Sam and Bucky and everyone reacting stunned. I agree. But I was like, why are the flag smashers not continuing to try and batter them? Like, they went there, literally, like, he met Carly there. Those guys arrived and they all rocked up to kill him.
I just took it to be, like, and I agree with what you're saying, but I just took it to be that, like, they weren't quite in the headspace for that. Like, they've not been, like, owning their, you know, and we've got the episode on, and it's at the point where Zemo is shooting Carly.
Yeah, and he's about to go kill the Siren.
So good.
But yeah, I don't get, like, this whole time they are fighting. Like, I know Zemo's shooting, but they're going at them with bloody great knives. It's not like the idea that they might actually hurt. So they're super soldiers armed with knives attacking people, right? Like, the chance of somebody dying is quite high.
Yeah, I think that what you're suggesting is the reality of the thing we're watching stripped of its significance to the audience. Because the audience has a reaction to what's happening on screen.
Yeah, but the characters shouldn't have the same reaction.
The characters 100% should not react to what the audience is feeling, or what the audience is feeling. The characters should never react.
I've run from parents in the way they run out of that room, but nobody arrived. Nobody rocked up to scare them away. Like, everyone just stopped fighting, and I'm like, why are you stopping fighting? Like,
I agree. I actually 100% agree. But I think that if you're going to write the story this way, imagine that you go the way you're describing, where after Lamar Hoskins is killed by Carly, the Flag Smashers like put the foot down and, you know, try and finish this by killing Captain America, what's his name, John Walker. Then you don't get what happens next, which I think the writers desperately want.
I mean, I completely
and their
agree.
behaviour it's not completely atypical to what we've seen from them before.
The thing is, other than Carly, people aren't comfortable with the killing. Like, you're right. And she's the last one to leave. She probably feel like the other guys run.
Exactly. The fact that she's the last one to leave is probably the key to fixing this scene.
Because she's like, oh my god, I'm on my own now against all of them.
Like, this has sort of swung sympathy towards fakes in America. And I, like, her entire shtick
we need community.
We need the sympathy of the people.
And we have to stick together. There's a lot of we stick together.
And her, like, if she wants the sympathy of the world, well, she's got it now. Because
she does.
What happens next?
So we should talk about that.
Okay.
Right. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
It's brilliant. I mean, God, what an end. Like, Jesus
Christ. Absolutely, unavoidably perfect.
It is. Like, the shots is perfect. Like, when low down with the blood on the shield, like the shield with the blood is a focus, right? And he's above it, but like, you're focusing on the shield with the like
Captain America's shield with blood soaked on the bottom half
of a man and he's saying, "I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Yeah, it was." What can you say? Like,
Jeff's kiss.
It was a Jeff's kiss.
Have we explained this on the podcast before? If anybody's listening to us, there's a good chance they listen to Kevin Smith.
If you listen to the Kevin Smith, Fat Man on Batman.
Fat Man Beyond.
Or is it Fat Man Beyond?
Yeah.
That he explains Jeff's kiss.
Well, it used to be called Fat Man on Batman.
But he's gone on from the...
He's not a fat man anymore, so it's Fat Man Beyond now.
Fair enough.
Because he had a heart attack and now he's a vegan and he fasts. He's a lovely man.
He is. We love a bit of Kevin Smith.
And I like Mark Bernardin as well.
So anyway, he calls it Jeff's kiss.
Jeff's kiss. Well, because somebody in their YouTube chat said, like, what is Jeff's kiss once? Because he says he used to say chef's kiss a lot.
Yeah.
And so now, whenever he wants to say chef's kiss, he says Jeff's kiss, and so now so do we.
Yeah, we say Jeff's kiss. I really enjoy that. When he comes out and the guy is backing away and he's on the steps and he just
and the guy's called Nico, played by Noah Mills.
Well, he's brilliant as well because he's petrified and he is.
And he is the guy who said to Carly he didn't believe there'd ever be another person like Captain America.
Yeah. He says, I was a fan.
Yeah, he was a fan of Captain America. And he didn't think there'd be ever another person like Captain America until he met Carly.
Yeah.
Now, this scene was, to me, a little bit weaker than it could have been.
Really?
Not the murdering.
Yeah.
But the scene where, what's his name? Nico said that he was a fan of Captain America until he met Carly. Because he says to her, like, nowadays the heroes have to, like, they don't have the luxury of not getting their hands dirty, or something like that. And I feel like that misses the point, and it cheapens everything that the Flag Smashers, the Flag Shaggers, the Flag Wankers are doing, right? To me, because it's not that Steve Rogers kept his hands clean.
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
He was in war.
He grappled with difficult, moral, complicated things all the time. He wasn't a poster boy or whatever. Like, he grappled with things, and yet he was still worthy of picking up that hammer in Endgame because of the choices they made, because he always followed his moral compass.
And purity. And
right?
goodness of heart.
He had
and nobility.
Well, just, he had a moral compass inside him, and he followed it. He didn't compromise it in the way that some people do, and so he was worthy
to the
pick
point
up.
of becoming an exile because of the
Exactly.
Accords.
Exactly. And when he was like, oh, like modern heroes, they don't get to keep they don't have the... Right. I am attracted to the idea of pacifism, right? But I'm aware that I get to feel like that because of the bloodshed of my ancestors.
Yeah. The people who had to go to war because...
because other people might not have felt like that. And someone had to defend the land.
Yeah.
Once, at least once, someone had to defend the land and spill blood for that. And so now I get to be like, oh, I'm a pacifist, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I agree. It's a point of privilege.
Pacifism is an incredible luxury.
Mm.
And I wish that had been allowed more space to breathe with the Nico character.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he, like, it felt like he was only saying that because she'd blown people up in the previous episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, she didn't have to do that.
No, she didn't.
That was, as this episode called out, a massive monumental mistake. Sam gave her nowhere to hide. Not in a judgmental way.
Yeah, I love that scene.
It's
He's
so
brilliant.
good.
Like, he talks to her with such of humanity. And then you contrast that, as you say, against Faked in America. He just comes in all fists and guns, and it's like...
But he's human too. Like, this is the brilliant thing about this show.
But he was wrong.
Well, so was she. Like, everybody was, except for Sam. Sam's
exactly.
Captain America in this show.
He was like, Faked in America was wrong. You get why he does it. You understand his point of view. You can see the argument.
When he killed Nico.
No, when he busts in on Sam and Carly.
Right.
He's worried. He's like, no, you're
he's
guy.
Arrogant. He's insecure.
He's wrong. Sam's completely right. He trusted his own judgment. He knew he could talk to her. He knew he'd get through to her. He's like, no, trust me, I can do it. And he was right.
And it's still a gamble.
It's still a massive gamble, but he was right. Just like Steve Rogers was right when he did stuff.
So the thing is that sometimes Steve and Sam are going to be wrong. Sometimes Steve and Sam are going to be wrong, and fucking Faked In is going to be right. Because that's the world. You do the best you can with the information you've got, and then you see what happens. But
he's not being manipulated or following sort of self-gaining motivation or being like weak-minded. He is Sam. He is making the choices with a real honesty and truth and respect for everybody involved in the choices being made. I really like him. We've bumped away again from the climax scene and I want to go back to it.
Let's go to it now.
So you've got all the people with their phones out, and as you said earlier, as soon as they start filming, you
know what Walker's gonna do.
And it's brilliant, and it's brutal, and it's horrific, and
it's so good.
Jesus, it's really good. I'm glad we're not letting the girls watch this series, to be fair, because
they liked one of them liked WandaVision.
Yeah,
the little one didn't like it as much.
No, she's warming to it now. They keep watching old episodes.
Yeah,
so.
She was on board for the sake of I
agree.
Jovial.
Yeah, tea. Sort of like, the girls, we watch WandaVision, but I don't care. I want to watch Octonauts.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would like this. It's too gritty. It's too...
I don't think they get a lot of what's going on.
I agree. And that was a really brutal scene. It was just, like... I know you don't see anything, because it's still Marvel on Disney+. You're not watching, like, the guys...
So, did you infer that Faked in America decapitated?
Yeah,
because I thought I felt like the show stopped short of showing that. Not showing that because obviously they're not going to.
Yeah,
they're not going to Game of Thrones.
I thought either he was decapitated or his forehead was caved in.
Right.
I wasn't sure which because, as you say, they don't show it.
The forehead makes more sense to me because they showed a couple of smacks before when he was lying on the floor taking the beating.
Yeah.
I at first I thought he was going to decapitate him with the shield, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, like
that's really fucking brutal.
Captain America's shield.
Yeah,
they've talked about the symbol and the power of the symbol. Like, is he going to chop off his head with the symbol?
I think either he decapitated him or caved his head in.
So good.
But he did one of those really fucking graphic things on camera.
Yeah, and lots of people were.
And Carly's watching, and she's like, because he's saying, I didn't do it, and she's like, oh my god, that was me, and you're taking my punishment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I haven't got a lot of sympathy for her. She killed Lamar.
Yeah.
And I know they were fighting at the time. It wasn't quite the same as
no, it's 100%. That's why death in war isn't the same as murder.
Well, yeah, like even then, like, he begged Faked America to stand down. Essentially, he begged for his life.
Yeah.
And without
looks him in the eye.
Yeah,
and is like pleading.
With no Carly. I'm not defending Carly Morgenthau, but when she killed Lamar Hoskins, she was in the midst of a fight.
Yeah, but it wasn't like she stood over him and killed him. She like punched him.
Exactly. Well, she was fighting. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He was fighting. They were engaged. You know, again, I'm going to keep doing this. Podlovian people, forgive me. But Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly.
Oh, and what's the guy who did that one, John? Is it Joseph Waddlesworth?
Joseph Waddlesworth. Everybody's favourite Justice League director. Sorry. Malcolm Reynolds says when I think Simon is concerned that Mal's going to kill him.
Yeah.
He says, oh, I'm worried you're going to kill me in my sleep. He says, like, oh, if I ever kill you, we'll be face to face. And you'll be armed, right? We'll be face to face, and you'll be armed. When Carly Morgenthau killed Lamar Hoskins, okay, maybe they weren't face to face, but they were engaged in battle.
Yeah,
and he was armed. When Faked America killed Nico,
he was on his back.
He was on his
begging
back,
for mercy.
Begging for mercy. Exactly.
I agree. It was just brilliant. Like,
it's so good. It's so good.
And I tell you what, because that was 4 episodes, and how many is there?
6.
6.
We've got 2 more. Yeah.
So they are really ramping it up. We should move on to what we liked, and then disliked, and then thoughts and theories, because we've done the episode.
What I liked, I've said this already, what I loved is Zemo smashing the vials.
I just love everything about Zemo.
Everything except for his little song. Like, everything that he does.
I love
when he gets handcuffed, he's like, it's a little aggressive, but
I love him.
My associate is over there. It's a little girl.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my god, I'm meeting my associate. Yeah, and they're like, what's going on? Yeah. Like, I love him. As I say, he's such a highlight for me, and because he's great. Just like, okay, when this show was coming out, and he's like, because I remember you said to me, like, this will be the next one after WandaVision, and I was like, I mean, it'll be great. And I was like, I'll watch it because I know it'll be great. But I wasn't sort of psyched for it. I knew it'd be good. I'm like, oh my god, anything. You put Zemo, Bucky, Sam in anything, and I'm going to want to watch that bloody movie because I'm like...
And we're going to be like, oh my god, this Loki show is the best thing that I've ever seen. In a few months, like... You know, I want to talk about something I really liked in this episode. Please. Whoever the location scout was for this episode, right, did a job. God, the buildings they used for this episode, with the massive courtyard, the warehousey feel, like the big windows, right? Like the statue, they went to some great locations for this. This was stunning. The buildings they used for it were just brilliant. The little old cobbled streets. Like, I know we did it last time as well, but I was just watching it like, oh my god, I would love the budget to film in locations that look like that, right? It was just really brilliant. Like, the buildings are just fantastic. It's an incredible feat again from Marvel. Like, I agree. So what didn't you like? Just the one thing is the one for the Master, one for the Dame. The only thing I don't like is I cannot invest in the Flag Smashers. I don't like their name. It's dumb. Yeah. It pisses me off. I can't take it seriously. I agree. I don't like. I tell you what, I'm incredibly jealous of her hair.
Oh, she's got great hair.
Like, I would love to be able to grow hair upon my head that is as bountiful as.
Yeah, I agree. She has fabulous hair.
What's her name?
Carly
Morgenthau. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Erin something. Erin Kellyman.
Well,
Kellyman.
Erin Kellyman has wonderful hair. I agree.
Yes.
But I can't, and I feel really like, is it something about me that I can't connect with this group? No.
It's definitely not something about you. It's that the effort of writing brilliance is going into other
everywhere
areas.
else, because I feel like everybody else.
Honestly, Sam is a fucking home run, right? Bucky is not necessarily a home run, but he's I don't know American sports. So in football he's a brace, right, which is 2 goals, right? Not a hat trick.
I couldn't fault Bucky.
No. All I mean is that he's not the showy one, right? Sam is like the Captain America in waiting. He's Captain America elect.
I agree. Bucky is something else.
Bucky is like he's a Bobby Firmino. He sets up.
Yeah.
Sam's Mohamed Salah.
He's so morally complex and sort of interesting, and there's so many layers to that guy.
His performance when he's you're free, and like Io, like so much of the work is going, and also the new Fakes in America is the bit that we're into now is after Lamar
and his legs all cocked up,
gets murdered, or not murdered, but like friendly fired or whatever.
Look, leg cocked up.
Right.
Yeah. But I agree. I feel like there's so much good writing that the Flag Smashers just didn't get enough.
I think that really what we're looking at is that the writers, the team of writers who have constructed this entire thing, are just the thing that they consider the least interesting is the Flag Smashers, which is why their whole thing is a little bit flimsy.
Because really, the antagonist is Faked in America. It's not the Flag Smashers. They're kind of like the fake antagonist, because they're the reason they're all gathered there, but they aren't actually the problem. I mean, I know they're a problem. I know they're doing bad stuff, but it's Faked in America. Yeah, it's Faked in America who you're interested in as the antagonist of the show.
Well, I mean, no, because some people would disagree. I think like the Erin Kellyman was recently like talking about her character in this show, and she was talking about how what she's working for is something that is a good thing.
I agree. There is complexity and layering in the pursuit of the Flag Smashers. I just feel like the show is more focused on Faked America as the antagonist, not them.
Do you remember we used to watch Outlander?
Yeah.
Right? The show was always more interested in Blackjack Randall than perhaps anybody watching it was. So it used to focus on that actor, Tobias Menzies, even his original character, Claire's modern husband.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'd watch it, you'd be like, well, I don't get why we're going back to Tobias Menzies' 20th century character searching for Claire when the interesting things are happening in the past.
Yes.
But the author's vision determines what you get.
Yeah.
So, I agree. The Flag Smashers are by far the most uninteresting thing about this show. But I think that the reason is that the people who are creating this show, they see them as a necessity, not as something that they are interested in exploring.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's a shame, really, because as I say, they are layered, they are interesting, they are morally complex as an idea.
That suggests that the writers are good writers, right?
Yeah.
That they've taken the thing that they're like, oh yeah, we need to come up with something for this,
and they've just made something good out of it. It's just you don't get enough time or development, but then they put so much conflict into every other moment. How you can't do an entire movie for every episode.
No.
So it makes sense that something has to be a little bit underdeveloped.
Well, no. I disagree. I don't think something has to be underdeveloped. Like we could fix it.
I like your confidence in us.
But we could take all the Flag Smasher scenes and do something better, right? I do not say that about anybody else in this show, right? I don't want to change anything that they've done, except for the Flag Smashers, which I would have a go at.
So, thoughts and theories, Jonathan McKinney.
Sharon Carter is the power broker.
I knew you were going to say, I really love that. That is my absolute, because it explains what she's doing. Because I'm like, why are we bothering with her?
She's somewhat superfluous. And we have a power broker who's like a character impacting...
who they talk about all the time, right?
Yeah.
With no face. So it's going to be a reveal.
Yeah. And it makes a good reveal at like the end of the next episode, which is the penultimate one.
I agree.
So that's a good time to say.
So who is she trying to turn into super soldiers?
Well, what does the power broker want? I don't really know because I've not been paying attention.
Because it's not to super soldierize the Flag Smashers, or they wouldn't have had to steal the serum in the first place.
Right.
Right?
I don't know.
But she's saying, like, I'm thinking as if it's right. The power broker's saying, give me my serum back. Like,
yeah.
So the Flag Smashers have taken the serum from the power broker.
Right.
And the power broker's like, I'm going to kill Carly kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if the power broker was looking to fund the Flag Smashers with serum, they wouldn't have bothered stealing it. So who would Sharon be trying to turn into super soldiers?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But if it's not Sharon, then we've got, like, in 2 episodes, a new baddie to introduce. And WandaVision proved that you don't get new baddies. No. You get the characters you've already met revealed to be baddies.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm just curious who, unless she's just trying to sell it on the black market, but that feels a little bit anticlimactic.
It does, but also not in a way, because the show isn't about the power broker.
No, you're right. I agree.
So I think they can get away with that. That if her motivation is literally just like, well, I've got to
fund my life.
I've got to survive somehow, you gang of pricks. Like, you all went and got pardoned. I didn't. I'm stuck in Madripoor. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So I recruited this guy. Oh, so she works for the CIA, or she used to work for the CIA. And Nagel said that he was recruited from the CIA.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So that's interesting, because that could imply that, again, Sharon
she took
is
the contact.
The power broker, yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm really a big fan of that.
Yeah. And she's powerful. Like,
yeah, I mean, she's badass. Like, we've watched her fight. Like, she's very strong.
Yeah. Other thoughts and theories, really, it's just a case of Sam is Captain America in waiting. He's Captain America elect, as I say. Like, everything. Honestly, every time I've watched this episode today, the consistency with which they depict him as being incorruptible,
I agree,
is a joy to behold.
He's brilliant.
And they can show it by juxtaposing him next to Zemo, who is also incorruptible.
Because he is completely pure in his pursuit.
Exactly. He cannot be corrupted by the offer
potential
of power.
Of power.
So he can hold power in his hand and then smash it under his feet.
Yep.
Without hesitating. Like, he commends Sam.
Yeah.
No, he just says, you didn't hesitate. That's good.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And it's not just that. Like, Sam is tested by Zemo. Zemo? Yeah, I have to test that every time I say it, because I keep thinking I'm saying Nemo. But he's also tested by Carly Morgenthau, who wants to recruit him as well. But he is unrecruitable. He's just true.
Yeah.
Like, he's just fucking true. Like Steve Rogers. Like,
I agree.
He's Captain America. Like, he's gotta be. It'll be so disappointing if he's not.
I agree. So that was great. So that was a really strong episode.
Are we done?
I think so. Are you not? Do you have thoughts to conclude?
I talked about what I didn't like, right?
Yes.
Which was the old man who lives down the lane.
Yep.
And also, Turkish Delight is disgusting.
It's gross, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like a weird, squishy nonsense. Nobody wants that.
Gross.
Zemo is great. Bucky is great. Io is great.
Yep.
When Io and the Dora Milaje
attack There's Attack the Apartment. It's brilliant.
It's
fucking
so
brilliant.
good.
Just so great. I agree.
The clothesline, like you mentioned,
Yeah,
over the
love it. Yeah.
so good.
So we will be back for episode 5
Yes.
next Friday. Well, it won't come out on Friday. We record on a Friday.
We will record it on Friday night, and then
it will come out on Saturday.
If I can edit the podcast in time.
If he can edit the podcast in time, Podlavians. But usually it comes out on a Saturday. What do I need to say? So, if you have enjoyed this podcast, first of all, please leave us a review.
A review would be lovely.
Would be lovely. Also, if you go to www.sirenstories.co.uk, over there you'll find links to all our work, all the other people who work on these Siren Stories projects. You can also subscribe. And if you do that, you can win free stuff every month. This month, you could win a free copy of Jonathan McKinney, this fellow, his first book, Emily the Master Enchantress. Yeah, it's you this month. So, if you want to be with a shot of that, you just subscribe once, completely free, and you're entered into the competition every month. So it's, it's very simple, and you just do that. So yeah, go do that.
And we don't spam a lot.
No, we don't. And also you can find all the social media and come and chat to us about this show and find out all the things that we are doing. And we would love to hear from you. Because we love talking about this show. It's great.
Oh God, yeah, please come and talk to us about.
Tell
Marvel
us your thoughts and theories. Like, what do you think? Because it's really fun chatting about this show with people on the Twitters and things. And we will be back again next week. So thank you very much. Bye.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo. It's as bad as see you on the flip side.
Well, it's comic book guy. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.